The Galactic Council, a union of the most powerful extraterrestrial species in the galaxy, has governed the cosmos with an iron grasp for centuries. Each member, from the reptilian Zari to the insectid Kareth, considers their own species superior in every imaginable manner. To them, the galaxy is theirs by right, a dominion maintained through terror, diplomacy, and a show of technological force that no one dares challenge. And Earth? Earth is nothing more than a backwater planet, a tiny speck at the edge of a star cluster. A primitive world, just barely squeaking by with its newfound space flight. To the Council, humanity is a curiosity at best, a nuisance at worst. Reports stream in over the years of humans doing this or that, claiming a few victories against rogue pirate bands or making minor breakthroughs in spacefaring technology. The Council dismisses these as petty concerns, not worth their time or resources. Humans are seen as youngsters playing with fire, destined to burn themselves out long before they pose any real threat. The Council is confident in its evaluation, certain of its superiority, and assured that humans will understand their place. Then, a few years ago, something happened that caught their attention. A human fleet, little more than a ragtag collection, unexpectedly organized and engaged a pirate armada renowned for terrorizing the outer systems. Against all odds, the humans not only repelled the pirates, but annihilated them completely with minimal losses. News of the triumph spread swiftly, even reaching the ears of the Council. There were whispers of new tactics, new weapons, strategic brilliance that appeared beyond humanity's grasp. Yet, the Council scoffed at the idea. They dismissed the event as a fluke, a stroke of luck, or possibly even a trick. Obviously, it was nothing more than that. A solitary victory does not make a fighter. A single battle does not win a war. But over time, more reports began to surface. Humans were spotted making alliances with smaller worlds. Their influence was slowly spreading. They were no longer content with their own system. They were stretching out, exploring, gaining ground. At first, it seemed minor, nearly undetectable, but the trend was undeniable. The Council could no longer disregard the growing whispers. The humans were not staying in their place. They were expanding, growing bolder, and worse, they were issuing warnings. They dispatched envoys to the Council, respectfully but firmly requesting recognition, respect, and most audaciously, a seat at the table of galactic power. To the Council, this was ludicrous. How could a species so young, so inexperienced, dare to desire a seat among the ancient races? How could they expect to stand as equals? It was an outrage, an insult that could not go unanswered. The Council gathered in their grand chamber, encircled by the sparkling lights of 1,000 star systems. Voices were raised, tempers flared. The humans needed to be reminded of their place. They needed to comprehend that their actions had consequences. The decision was unanimous. Earth would be made an example of, swiftly, decisively. The Council chose a human colony, far on the outer edge of their influence, a small settlement that served as a symbol of human expansion. It was an easy target, isolated with minimal defenses. They would strike strong and swiftly, destroying the colony with overwhelming force, a clear message to humanity and to any other species who might think to rise against them. The Council's fleets were assembled, an armada of warships packed with the latest in alien technology. The generals chuckled among themselves, scoffing at the idea of any meaningful resistance. This was not a battle. It was a formality, a demonstration to remind the humans of their place in the cosmic order. As the ships assembled, the commanders exchanged condescending remarks. "The humans will learn," one sneered. "They always do," another chuckled. They believed their technological superiority would make short work of any defenses the humans might muster. The fleet was a tapestry of alien war, a collection of vessels from every corner of the galaxy, each one a monument to the military power of the species that created it. The Council was certain of their victory, certain that no species, not humans, could withstand such a force. The command was given, and the invasion fleet began its journey across the stars. Confident in their plan, they saw no need for caution. After all, they were dealing with humans, mere upstarts with no true comprehension of what it meant to wield power. The Council anticipated a swift operation, a mere exercise to maintain their image and establish their dominance. They had no idea they were about to face the one species that would change everything. To strike, they had the upper hand now, and they were not about to lose it. They realized the disruptor was more than simply a weapon. It was a psychological instrument, skillfully spreading uncertainty and panic among their foes. The extraterrestrial forces, unable to comprehend what was happening, teetered on the edge of collapse. Ships collided with each other in their desperate attempts to retreat. Commanders argued over conflicting directions. Morale plummeted. Several captains, sensing the hopelessness of their circumstances, began to consider abandoning their posts. The fear of the unknown gripped them hard. They had come anticipating a straightforward victory, but now they were trapped in a nightmare they could neither understand nor escape. The human commanders recognized the tide of war was turning in their favor. They witnessed the rising panic, the disarray among their enemy, and they pressed their advantage. Their ships moved like a coordinated wave, striking at vital points in the alien structure, targeting the most vulnerable ships and command vessels. Every strike seemed to further demoralize the alien forces. Every successful maneuver heightened the sense of dread among the Council's ranks. The Council leaders, now desperate, ordered all remaining ships to focus fire on the human fleet, hoping to force a breakthrough through sheer brute force. But even as they struggled to muster a concerted attack, their ships continued to falter. More systems shut down. More engines failed. Additional weapons became useless. The realization began to set in. They were battling an enemy they did not understand, with weapons they could hardly counter. The confidence they had felt at the onset of the invasion was gone, replaced by the cold awareness that they had underestimated their opponents on a fundamental level. The human commanders. Aware of the shifting dynamics, the human commanders continued to direct their forces with calm precision. They knew they had struck fear into the hearts of the Council's fleet. They could sense the hesitancy, the doubt, the rising dread among the alien forces, and they knew they had a chance to strike a decisive blow, a blow that would echo across the galaxy, forcing the Council to finally understand humanity's strength. The alien fleet, once a symbol of tremendous power, was now in disarray. Their technology, once their greatest weapon, had been turned against them. Their leaders, once so sure of their superiority, now faced the truth of their own vulnerability. The tables had turned, and for the first time in its long history, the Council was beginning to realize they might be facing a power they could not defeat. One by one, their ships began to fail. Engines sputtered and died, leaving vessels adrift in the cold emptiness of space. Power cores overloaded, sending arcs of electricity through corridors, igniting fires that spread uncontrollably. Systems flickered, lights dimmed, and screens went dark. Crew members scrambled desperately, trying to restore control, but it was useless. The technology they had always relied on was betraying them. Engineers tore through panels, attempting to reroute power. Pilots fought with controls that no longer responded. Communication officers shouted into their headsets, pleading for orders, only to be met with static. In the command centers, alien leaders barked contradictory orders. Their authority was crumbling amid the chaos. The human fleet moved with precision. They saw their opportunity and seized it. A synchronized counterattack, their ships fully functional and guided by a calm, confident strategy, zeroed in on the crippled alien vessels. They targeted the command ships first, the warships that coordinated the Council's fleet. With a few well-placed attacks, they severed the head of the Council's forces. Then the supply ships, their engines damaged by human fire, drifted helplessly, dead in the void. Without resources, the alien fleet's ability to sustain itself evaporated. The humans didn't waste energy on spectacle. They were methodical, precise, efficient. They disabled rather than destroyed. They struck with just enough force to achieve maximum disruption. Like a pack of wolves, they picked off the weakest and most isolated ships, forcing the survivors into a tighter and tighter space. The alien commanders, witnessing their fleet collapse around them, finally understood they were being herded, cornering their forces like prey. Pride was replaced with desperation. Escape was impossible. Every attempted retreat was met with a wall of human warships emerging from the void, cutting off every route. The Council's fleet was trapped, their lines shattered, their formation in tatters. And the human commanders? They never raised their voices, never lost their composure. Through the calm channels, their orders remained steady, calm, and that terrified the alien leaders more than anything else. Despair settled over them.